my guy.
Hail to you and welcome. My name is Zishka TV. This is the Fatshark Games dev interview and game update. This is going to be an amazing stream. To start off, we're gonna do some quick introductions. I am a longtime Vermintide player, longtime community member. I've been in a number of tournaments, host a number of those tournaments. And I just also want to say thank you so much to Fatshark and the community of Vermintide, Darktide for inviting me and having me here on this page. It is an honor and privilege to be here and host these streams and to be able to talk with each of you. Joining me today, Eric is our product owner, Carl, our game designer, and Joachim, the design director. We're going to be interviewing them, talking about all the incredible changes that are coming up. We're talking about class rebalances, talent modifications, total reworks, weapon updates, and something big, real big, that you're going to want to stick around to hear. It's pretty cool. Before we get started, I want to talk about just this stream in general. As we talk about these kind of things, let me know if the audio is a little loud, by the way.
It seems good. Oh my god, at least.
Okay, something's going on with my background sound. We are collecting your questions, your comments, your concerns, your wants, your needs, your desires. We are collecting those. It might not be a Q&A session today, but we are looking at Fatshark forum posts. We're looking at the Steam posts. We're looking at the official Discord. So please voice those there on those platforms. You will be heard. Now, I'd like to open this floor to Eric, Carl, and Joachim. Please, this might be the first time chat is seeing you, the players are seeing you. Give us a little introduction about yourselves and how you stepped into Vermintide.
Do you want to start, Eric?
Should we fix the obvious?
I was gonna
yeah.
I was gonna say I like my promotion.
Oh, no, hold on.
Director. Oh, that's nice.
Why did that get changed? This whole time, I was like, I need to here. We got to do some leapfrog real quick. We got to do some leapfrog. There we go. Sorry, I don't know why OBS doesn't want to play nice today.
Aww. I like I'm in the sun. Power gone. Unlucky.
Or long war.
Well, all right, I can get started. So my name is Eric. I am product owner on Vermintide 2. I've been working on Vermintide 2 for almost 3 years now, and took over the position of product owner about half a year ago.
Yeah, my name is Carl. I've attended a few of these. I'm the resident game designer on the V2 project. I've been working with this title for about 3 and some years, almost 4 now. So yeah, that's me.
And now that I'm no longer Carl, I am Joachim, design director on Vermintide. I guess I am the oldest shark, but newest here.
Yeah, you worked on Vermintide for like 10 odd years or something.
Yeah,
very long.
So I've been at Fatshark for 15 years, and I joined Vermintide again this March after coming from Darktide as lead level designer. So I am now design directing. Interruption. But yeah, it's been great. It's really great being back at Vermintide again. I really enjoy coming home in a way. And yeah.
Awesome. Well, great. Well, thank you for inviting me and also joining me on this this conversation. This is going to be a big conversation to have, especially with the brand new Wolf Father event, as well as the big balance change update. Speaking of the balance changes, is there let's talk about some of the rebalances first in terms of class.
Right. Yeah. Which one do you want to start with? Huh?
Oh man. Well, I mean, obviously, let's get this out of the way. There's some bugs, right? There's some real fire bugs out there for our wizard right now.
Lingering frame is broken. It's not going to deal that much damage, you know. sorry, your time in the limelight it's going away, unfortunately. But yeah, we're fixing that. And unfortunately, although it's it's mighty fun right now, the warrior priest new gaining fury from taking damage is actually not supposed to give you fury once you are in the down state. So no more Omega Sigmar Juggernaut action. It's enjoy it while it lasts. Enjoy it while it lasts.
Sigmar gives and Sigmar takes. So we also have some other changes. Like if I pull this up real quick on the stream, this is as fancy as I get. But you guys can see this here. I'm gonna go ahead and copy this and can I post it in chat? Am I a bad enough dude? Can I do that? Hold on, let me see. But this is from the post from Akshi, kind of going over the changes. Shout out to Akshi. Let me go here, and I'll post it here in chat for us to be able to see. This is what you guys can follow along with. Well, let me. All right, there we go. Okay, good. So this is kind of going to go over those changes, just kind of in general. Those are the first heavy hitters. Obviously, it's going to be our Pyromancer change, talking about why can't I say it? Something that I thought was really cool to Pyro is how some of these talents ended up becoming just a passive, not even just a something that you have to select anymore. It's like this is just like an innate thing. So I think that was really cool. That plays into like the Bones Doctrine is what is now passive. You're talking about the reduction to the burning head cooldown, which I think is one of the one of the cooler things about it. Like she can use her ability more often. And then I've just been playing around with different builds around that, being able to make sure that that's up, and it's far more reliable that it's up, whereas before you would be like, well, I just used it and we're still in the fight, and suddenly you're like, well, I don't have the ability that I need, which I think is kind of something you've done across the board with a lot of these career changes is you have it, those alts feel like they are more reliable up during that fight. It's not like you finish the horde and you're like, well, good thing my ability's up now. Like you said earlier with Soulspire, Warrior Priest especially, getting that fury at the end of the horde just felt like you're just like glowing for no reason. And now you have that more often. It's more reliable. It feels very active.
Yeah. I mean, out of the changes, probably Volans Doctrine, right? It's the top one. I mean, like I mentioned in the post where I've written that a lot of these changes are based on a lot of popular forum, discussions, and some of the popular balance modes, listening to what the community sort of asks for. And I think the whole overcharge slowdown as a concept feels rough on Sienna Pyromancer, which has the crit passive that sort of rewards you on being on high overcharge. So it felt like a very sort of natural step in the forward direction for the Pyromancer as a career. I think, I mean, I really like, my personal favorite is the increased overcharge with the increased size, because I think that sort of sets her apart with the whole overcharge minigame that the Sienna career sort of interact with. Like I mentioned in the blog, but I can just repeat it again, is that for the longest time, right, sort of there have been a bit, the water is a bit muddled when it comes to sort of our Sienna careers, and they sort of stepping on each other's toes and such. There was this initial idea about what sort of Sienna careers were going to do, but that was very tied to sort of the staves early in production, and when they all got to use all of them, that sort of really, I've lost the word for it, but it made it even more thin. So this new sort of push at making them or giving them sort of the more of their own unique identity is how they sort of interact with the overcharge mechanic as a whole, with battle wizards moving to sort of trying to bring it to a more balanced play style, where like the battle wizard doesn't have as much to say with her entire sort of overcharge bar, but can rely on her passive to sort of dump her overcharge sort of mid-fight, while Pyromancer, who now has a much bigger sort of overcharge bar, has a bit more to play with and will get a lot more mileage out of the sort of overcharge available, while the Unchained is more the sort of high risk, high reward, or depending on how you want to choose it, very sort of spiky overcharge games with a lot of ups and downs with instant sort of overcharge dumping, which is why we removed exhaust from Pyromancer tree, as we felt that it's more of a unchained identity now, or at least that's the thought behind it. That's some of the Pyromancer stuff.
I love that you said that, because like one of my favorite things to do. I mean, you talk about the overcharge dump, especially with something like Unchained. Like I'm an extremely reckless wizard. I'm not very good at maintaining my overcharge, so being able to have something even like Abandon is one of my favorite builds, because I'm like, I'm gonna pop, but I can keep clearing it and not. As long as you got HP, you're okay. But talking about how there's even, I think it's 50% more overcharge for our Pyromancer.
Yeah.
Is a blessing for me, because again, I'm not so good. Even if it's beam staff, if it's bolt staff, Koro staff, it doesn't matter. For me, I always struggle with finding those times to be able to either vent and not take the damage, or wait for just some way to manage my overcharge. So having that extra percent really helps me out, especially as I'm not the best wizard player. So I feel like that was a really powerful change. And like you said, doubling down on identity. Speaking of identity, can you talk to me about Outcast Engineer? That's a big load of changes that he's getting.
We did some stuff with it, right? Bouncing back again to the ideas that we're sort of sourcing a lot of the issues we want to fix from sort of top community grievances, and with a tear in my eye, watching all the tier lists and the opinions regarding Outcast Engineer, it's a lot of weakness and clunkiness, which I, of course, I'm not blind. I see it and I feel it and I agree with it, which is why we sort of put a lot of these sort of changes on the table. There was not a lot of sort of, we knew quite early from the start what we wanted to do with the sort of with the crank gun, right? With the how you build pressure and how it works when you shoot and such. We'll see if this fixes sort of the amount of clunkiness we want to. This is the sort of first stroke of the brush when it comes to balance, but hopefully it helps to alleviate a majority sort of the clunkiness. That's that's the first part, and then comes the sort of idea also that I mentioned sort of on the blog, where engineer struggles a lot when the going gets rough, sort of in game, when the unexpected sort of happens. You can quite easily get overwhelmed as the engineer, which sort of sparked the sort of the bomb identity, I guess. The whole sort of ingenious ordnance, like the engineer would utilize bombs in a unique fashion to try to sort of help out the sort of chaotic situations, maybe like a Kruber ultimate on a stick of sorts with the bombs, right? That's the inspiration from that, to sort of give the engineer some crisis control, while also trying to just bump his power a bit overboard. I think the new changes to cranking actually does increase his strength a lot, which is also sort of why we reduced slightly. We brought down the fire rate a bit to sort of counteract the fact that you will have a lot more charge available to you now if you keep up with the cranking. It's a lot of cranking to be going on. We're aware that it might be a bit tedious at the times. We'll see where we land. So please continue to shout at me if you feel like it needs more. I read most of it.
Well, something that you had said there, especially in terms of the balance in general, is you said it was the first brushstroke, especially when it comes to kind of making these big changes. on any of the characters, but especially our engineer here, it's like this isn't going to be the end all be all change to the character, right? Like there's going to be balances, there's going to be updates in the future. There's going to be like there's a flux and flow, ebb and flow of battle, right? So that's kind of what we're going to see in terms of balance changes.
Yeah, like I mentioned, sort of in the blog, right, is that we wanna try to commit to having balance changes more than every other year to make it not feel as as stale as some people feel, right? Gonna try to do smaller changes that are clear outliers, and we wanna try to bring those in line at a more regular cadence, right? Without tying myself up too much here and getting hit by the boss here.
Well, something that's really cool is here, especially when you look at our NG right now, is like the different ways to play him, right? You can be extremely aggressive on your health bar, especially with something like Perilous Overclock, right? That the more times that you do that crank over, you end up getting 25% of that charge back. You even get the additional crit. Is it crit chance or crit power?
Crit chance.
15% crit is what it says. Okay, crit chance. So that's already extremely really good, and you can kind of see where if you can figure out that temp HP gain, plus he has overall an increase to HP. Originally it was 100, I believe, and now it's 125. So he's tankier. He's allowed to kind of punish himself a little more in terms of HP, but he's able to keep that crank gun up more. He's able to attack more. And if you don't want to use that, if you're like, well, it's time to melee and you have those cranking going, you can focus more on something like Superior Gaskets, where if you have those high cranks, you're at 20 plus power. So there's already those different like variants that you can play with in just the NG alone. So I think this offers a lot of player and customization to gameplay for the players.
I like hearing that. That's what we're going for, right? So hopefully you're not too pigeonholed with your talent decisions, right? That's the goal. So I like hearing that.
Well, going off of something like that too. So if we're gonna move from our engineer here and talk about, because you did mention the assaults, we did mention our warrior priest. The warrior priest, in my opinion, got massive buffs, especially to how his ultimate works. I'm gonna pull that up and bring it up to how it's innate now. Before you had to pick the talent that you could traverse through. Is it lesser enemies? I forget the words. It actually is like it's pretty...
lesser enemies, right?
Yeah,
not the big boys.
So what I originally thought was like, okay, this is cool. I can put it on myself and I can push through. No, while I've been doing just playing the game, I've noticed you can slap that on anybody and they get that buff. Like they're able to just pass through enemies, which is pretty awesome. Like it feels more utilitarian, and it also just makes you feel more powerful just playing the game.
Yeah, I mean the main sort of thing we wanted to move away from was that we had this really feel bad moment of warfire throw is the main thing, right? Or rattling gunners to some extent, where it's like you slap down your ultimate and you still get pushed away, and even though you're immortal and glowing, I think it undermines the whole sort of power fantasy a bit too much. So felt like wanted to sort of bump the strength a bit of that. So that felt like the natural way to go. That was the first change, at least. Then we had the passive, right? Have you gotten the chance to try it out yet? Passive talents?
In terms of being able to build up your Righteous Fury?
Yeah.
No, like something that I've really enjoyed about that we touched on even a little or at the start of the stream is it's up more frequently, especially with being able to tie that with your Shield of Faith with empowered. See My Wrath, where that'll give you your 60% Fury. Like it's a very good way to, you don't feel reactive to the game. Like it can be a panic button, but at the same time it can also be like, watch this. It's that same feeling when you're gonna pound like a strength potion and go take on a patrol by yourself. You kind of get that feeling just with that alone, because you know that strength, that additional fury is coming. You know that extra smite damage is coming, and to me that's just been a very like powerful feeling for the character.
I like that. I don't know if some people in the chat have already seen the ridiculousness of the current Blazing Bright talent, one where you take damage and working with the Comet's Gift, right? So when you get that shield on you, it heals you, and if you were to be down, it would revive you as well. So the idea is still that it's still going to work while you're down, right? It's not based on like the damage you will take, the correct intention of it, right? But if your allies, if you are on the brink of gaining fury and your allies kill some stuff around you, you will still get that buff and you will stand up. Wanted to really try to capture that. Or the idea behind the talent was that sort of sea of darkness, glowing, the lighthouse, the beacon of hope in the team feeling that you get when you're sort of getting overwhelmed, but then the shield procs and just all around goodness. That's the sort of inspiration for those.
I think that's incredible. I think that's a strong way to kind of like put not just like individual character, like I can kill things, but you also know that you're going to bring something to the table in terms of team cohesion and team play as well. And as we're going over this chat, if we touch on something that you're like, I saw something really cool, post it in chat. Let's talk about some of the cool balance changes that have happened or some of the things that you've noticed with this balance change. By all means, post it in chat. Let's get some stories going. Can we talk a little bit more about some of the other maybe career just kind of tweaks and smaller things that we saw?
We can mention Battle Wizard. The perception and that we agree with is that Battle Wizard was very strong. I mean, she's even stronger now with the lingering frames, right? But that was not the intention, right? But I think there's no like specific area over her that we really wanted to hit besides Famished Flames and Fire Sword and whatnot. So it's just like sprinkling some overall strength reduction to her, extreme mobility and the safeness of the career. So I think that's pretty much where that came from, those changes. Necromancer, can maybe give some background to the first iteration of the Army of the Dead. As many people pointed out, it was a bit hard to use early in development while we were sort of tweaking and doing dumb stuff with the talents. Really felt like the sort of when we're just playing with it, the potential of the career skill of being able to have like 30 skeletons or something, like when you crank it with some concentration potions and whatnot would carry it over line. But if you are a good Necromancer player, like many of you are, interacting with your skeletons, having them tank for you and doing some sacrificing, you usually found yourself with just 6. So we only felt that it was only right to have you get all 12 skeletons every summon. But you can still do all the stacking, right? So the big army is still available. It's not gone away. I think that's the main thing.
Just a side question: is there any type of hard cap to the skeletons being able to be summoned?
How much can your computer take?
Coming back to the CPU, huh? That's interesting. I want to try that, and especially with like I'm thinking like a Foot Knight Kruber with the talent where every time he interrupts an elite, you get that ability bar charge. So I'm waiting for like a Cataclysm Patrol, a Foot Knight, concentration potions, maybe some proxy out there, or even decanter, and just charge through. I want to see how many skeletons people can get up. Screenshots, skeleton screenshots. Let's get them. Something else that you, I don't know. This is gonna be a tough one because some people have already said this, especially when it comes to boss killing. Grail Knight got a reduction on their talent.
Here we go.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Grail Knight got what, 20 seconds added to their ability, so it went from 40 seconds to 60. I think even with a concentration potion, you're still able to get a total of 3. If you have a full bar plus a concentration, I think you're able to do that. The next big one, especially this, is double daggers. Double daggers received a how big a percentage change?
Roughly 20%.
And that's to bosses alone. That's just boss damage.
That's just boss damage.
Okay.
Uh,
Chat might know. I want you to speak on that, but chat, maybe you might know too. Can I still one-shot pack masters with it?
oh yeah, the fact that pack masters have boss armor, and that's still there, right?
I hope so. I'm pretty sure if you like put some monster damage, if you throw on some Skaven damage, you'll probably be able to. I just don't know. I'm not a big elf main. I'm a foot knight main. I'm an IB main. So those I don't have like the in-depth knowledge of like double daggers. The next big one, especially after that, is going to be our bounty hunter. Our bounty hunter double shot got a change. It looks like it was a bug actually to get a double trigger. So they're looking at 80%. If you took that talent cooldown, you get 90%. That's nice. It's nice, but can you speak to me on the 60% refund?
All right. Okay, so right, it was a bug. It's always been a bug since it was released, right? But realize it's in fact very fun to shoot bosses a million times in the head with a big gun and just annihilate anything that you can hit the head of, right? So we let it be, we let it simmer for a while, but now with the sort of the commitment, I guess, to bring down our sort of boss killer careers, we felt like, okay, now is the time to actually address the elephant in the room, I guess, or the thing we swept under the rug as like, yeah, this is fun enough. We'll leave it be. We see currently, a hot topic. We see and hear your feedback regarding the changes. So not blind. I'm reading it. Okay. But I just provide the way we thought about it, at least from our end, for this first iteration of the change, right? So, mission statement: reduce the strength of double shotted as we feel it is too strong. It trivializes bosses too much. If you can hit, we do realize it's a very nice skill expression. So right from the start, the sort of options we were jumping between was either just reducing the boss damage as a whole of the gun, or reducing the cooldown reduction, and in part fix the bug about it poking too much. It was, if you can believe it, it was only meant to reduce 40% cooldown from the start, so nowhere near as strong as it is right now. But while we were considering our options, very aware that reducing the cooldown would not be the more popular one of the two options, as we know that a lot of players, or bounty hunter players, at least, they sort of identify with this sort of skill expressions of being able to actually kill the entire map if they can land every headshot, chaining just fat blasts after one after another. And on the other hand, we felt that reducing the damage would it would increase this already very extreme skill floor that comes with playing bounty hunter, right? Because to be able to perform on bounty hunter, you have to do the one like really career warping thing, which is to chain headshots with your gun. Like that's why you pick bounty hunters, like the one thing, right? And then it has his range crit loop type thing, but no one knows this because everything pales in the shadow of double shotted, right? So we felt it already worked the career a lot much. Well, a lot much, that's not a word, but what we didn't want to happen was to reduce the damage too much, to try to bring it in line with the rest of the game, right? To the point where the damage feels anemic, right? Where the requirement of hitting so many headshots, it becomes so high that it's only available to the top 1% of bounty hunter. Otherwise, you're like the idea of a skill floor, right? It would become very similar to much what the piercing shot for Carillion is suffering for, right? It's not the most popular talent, no, by any stretch of the imagination. It's only like 3 players out there that play with piercing shot, but the ones who do play with piercing shot and hit every headshot can absolutely clown on an entire level to the point where, yeah, it becomes sort of ridiculous. So in light of this is actually why we opted to go with the reduction in cooldown to be able to keep the impressive damage profile of the shot, or even increase it further in the future to make it still have that awesome impact that the idea, like the aim is for the career skill. But you know, first iteration of the change, we're listening to feedback, we're reading it, and who knows what happens in the future. Like we're working together here. Like this was our take of the change, but you know, if everybody wants it back, who knows what happens.
So I mean, that's good. That's good to say that this is, like we said earlier, this isn't just the final and definite change. This is obviously like something that just shapes and molds, not just to what players are demanding, but kind of like what we expect to get from the gameplay experience as a whole. So I feel like that is just the first step. We've got, you know, obviously other changes and whatnot to be made in the future. Other changes that were made as well were something that I know, another thing that is a tough point, and this might be one of the last ones. Actually, I'll hit you with a double whammy. Javelin. Javelin got a nerf. Javelin got a nerf, and Coruscation staff also got a nerf. Javelin, I do know, had a very heavy pierce or a cleave. I can't remember the right word. I think it was cleave. So that got reduced. I haven't seen, and this is me just saying it, if you want to touch more on it, I haven't seen too much of a negative impact to something like armor, whether that's the Storms or the Chaos Warriors. I still see it performing pretty well.
Yeah.
And chat also, please put in your opinions as well.
Yeah, I mean, I can try to answer some questions if they feel wronged by the changes. But right, so the Javelin's sort of intended design is to be, you know, effective versus armor, but even then it dealt a lot of damage, combined with the fact that it has infinite armor, made it problematic from the start. But you know, in the light that it had some ridiculous cleave, and it was not only extremely effective versus all types of armor, but you could also like mow down hordes on a train, like everything. Every ambient enemy and roamer got killed by the hands of the Javelin, right? So trying to target the extreme versatility, right? So I think the change that will be felt absolutely the most is the cleave, right? No longer will it be able to farm down hordes, and you might need to, you know, rearrange your gear slightly to try to hit the breakpoints that you maybe worked with before, if you are now no longer you know, headshotting storm vermins on Cataclysm and whatnot. That's the first one. Let me just water the throat here a bit.
Got the Coruscation staff.
Coruscation stuff. I think it's of course very strong. It all trolls in Helmgart cower to the Coruscation staff, but it also was extremely strong in the hands of the battle wizard, right? So I think it that was really also sort of a double whammy and a double negative for the Coruscation staff, which I think made it seem even more broken than it, you know, already is. So, you know, we'll see an overall change to sort of the reduction to the power level, right? But we're trying also to move the sort of the idea with Flame Patch, right, is we want to reward players who, you know, get to keep the enemies in the fire. So we want the actual patch to deal more damage and not just the dot that gets applied from it. So everything will die that's just passed over the patch. So see where it lands, we'll see where it lands, you know, listening to feedback and such.
Okay. So
sorry, let's interrupt you here for a bit, Ishka, just to while we have it in mind, because the previous topic we talked about was boss killers, right? And I can just mention that on the list, on our sort of hit list of problem areas. Masterwork pistol and, you know, Ranger veteran, absolutely turning monsters into holes filled with, full of daylight. It's on the list there. So fortunately, didn't make the first batch, right? But we have our eyes on it.
Awesome. No, that's awesome. I've seen a number of people ask that. I wasn't sure. I was like, I want to stay on the patch notes, but that's cool. Thank you for addressing that. Another thing that is live now is the one-handed weapon buffs in terms of the idea, the concept of being able to do that half stam push, being able to the specific chat note. The specific patch notes say you want to take a look at maybe improving headshot damage of one-handed weapons, dodging types, like maybe counts and distances, crit chance, stamina. Like, just are one-handed weapons looking at getting like reworked in the future?
I mean, rework is a strong word, but I think we want to try out sort of some of the buffs that we have lined are in line with that. We want to improve on the fantasy, right, of the one-handed weapon, of you being, skillful swashbuckler, dancing around the fight. That comes with, swinging around, less weight, wielding more agile weapon, and we want it to be to feel good in light of, our two-handed weapons, which sports more just, or the idea at least is to support more raw damage, raw cleave and stagger. That comes with being less mobile in the game. So trying to bring those up to a satisfying level where players will enjoy engaging with them a bit more, as they are on the lower end of the pick rate.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for that. So we've got our balance changes that we went through. We took a look at that. I know that there's another post after the one I've been showing here on stream. There's another one that goes a lot deeper into numbers, especially I know that one that we didn't talk about was the two-handed weapon change for the two-handed sword. That's one of my favorite weapons in the game. I love to rock that on Salt Spire all the time. I loved it since the cleave was improved and how that all works. So again, those damage numbers and profile changes are all there. I'll post that link in a little bit, or if I have any mods that can post that link as well. So we talked about our balance change. What has all happened leading up to this in terms of the year 2023 for Vermintide? What does that look like going from January to December now?
Oh, yeah, right.
Someone
you guys
else.
are still here. I'll let you take over for a bit.
Take a breather now.
I know I hot seat you so bad this whole time, Carl. I apologize, but I just getting all that. So talk to me about Vermintide 2023.
All right, I guess I can start because right when I joined, there was the 5-year anniversary. It was really cool to jump in on. After that, I guess it was the last of the Tower of Treachery, or the last of the Treacherous Adventure maps. Tower of Treachery. That was really cool. We had the Onslaught tournament. I think was that early May something.
Yeah, Onslaught is ongoing about every 3 months. It's about once a quarter. Onslaught happens.
Yeah, and which I think led into Skulls. The Skulls was like
Yes.
cool demon skulls everywhere. Pick all of them up. Was good. And I think Kalakaskaras was just after that, like June. Am I right, Eric?
Yeah, around there. And then we had a bit of a longer break between updates, but followed that up with the Necromancer. That was tightly followed by Geheimnisnacht instead. And now we're at the Gifts of the Wolffather update. And that brings us to now.
Yeah. And I guess, to me, knowing about like the plans, the stuff that we have in the works, even Geheimnisnacht and Gifts of the Wolffather and stuff, is like, I know that when Necromancer came out, a lot of the chapter was like, okay, so this is it for Vermintide. Like, this was the last of the careers. Now it's just, okay, nothing more. We don't need to expect anything else because everyone was so hyped about Necromancer. So we are trying to prove you wrong, you doubters out there. Vermintide.
Doubters scrambles.
Exactly. Just coming in with a hard nerf on everything, then we're good. Now we can leave it.
So you're saying what is coming up? So in terms of, obviously what you just spoke on was a lot of the events that are happening in the game of 2023. Going into 2024, are we looking at more events? Not necessarily like, obviously ones we like to look forward to. Wolffather, Geheimnisnacht, those are really fun. Even a Quiet Drink, especially on the anniversary, we can expect to see those. But what are other things that maybe you could tease us with now that might be in the works?
What is in the works?
Levels.
Yeah.
That's one thing, right? That's the first thing.
First thing you think of. I mean, we have. I mean, this is like starting with Gifts of the Wolffather, the rebalancing stuff. I mean, obviously, it is a commitment throughout 2024. We want to do more stuff. We definitely want to do more balancing. We want to touch on the issues and pain points we see in the game at large. So not only the weapons, but like trying to identify and look at the smaller stuff as well.
No big stuff.
We're talking about Chaos Waste.
Oh yeah, Chaos Waste.
That's what we're talking about.
Okay. So we've got modes we're going to be working on. We got maps we're going to be working on. Obviously, there might be some other balance changes in the future. That's pretty cool stuff. But what exactly? I'm going to ask you point blank. What is next for Vermintide?
Christmas holiday.
Oh yeah, Christmas holiday. That's next for us. Don't we have a thing for that?
We had a thing.
Oh, we have.
Oh, yeah, we had a thing.
Oh yeah, right.
So remember, I guess, when was it? Back in 2019?
Was it 2019?
I think so.
Damn, that's a long time.
Yeah.
Does that count as soon?
I think so.
Soon?
There has been a meme since 2019, I think, at least.
Has it been a meme since then?
Yeah.
Oh no. I can do it.
Yeah. Do you want to do the honors?
You fired up, Ishkan.
All right, here we go. Versus, there it is. That's so awesome. Chat, what do you think? What do you think? For me, seeing that, I absolutely need to play a Ratling. That is a Ratling, or I didn't see it in there, but a Fire Rat would be so sick. I love them cackling to themselves just before they fire. I cannot wait. That is so cool. Can you tell me more about that, or what are we doing? Play tests? Tell me something.
Yeah. So first up, we actually ran a playtest over this weekend with some people internally, but also some people from outside of the studio. We had a lot of fun, and I think that people who played had a lot of fun as well. We are soon going to have another test, and we are soon going to send out invites to that test. And if you keep your eyes open, I think you will see that soon.
Awesome. Are there going to be any...
We'll
Oh, sorry.
I mean,
2019.
versus and soon. That's good.
Well, if people are able to sign up for this, is it going to be like official Fatshark forums, or do we have any of those portals figured out on where people can sign up, or maybe a post or a blog or something?
there's gonna be more about that short. Let's swap the word.
Awesome. That's so fantastic to be able to see. I'm looking forward to being able to play that. I'm looking forward to get into it. I'm looking forward to seeing what craziness happens. There's been some other games that have some similar mechanics, and those are nuts. But when you tie it in with the things that Vermintide offers, it's gonna get crazy. And I know modded community. The second they see anything, they go crazy. So I can't wait to see this many players. Bless this many players. 30, right? Lobbies of 15 versus 15. I think it'll crazy. Modders, make it happen. What do you guys think? What do you think of that video? Let's get some like craziness going in chat.
I guess while we are waiting on that, I mean, it has been something that we have been working on continuously throughout the year. Having picked it up again, and then worked on it in secret. So we're like super duper happy to like finally reveal it, because it is really, really fun.
It looks so great. And then if I can speak on it, it's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome. I've had the opportunity to be in not this playtest, obviously, but one before, and I loved it. And I'm looking forward to seeing what other people do, because they see the game totally different. I definitely play the game. I'm a lore nerd at first. Like, I gotta have to know the whole background of one particular thing. So before Versus starts, I'm gonna fire up Vermintide 1, and I'm gonna go into lore book. Any lore book masters? And I'm gonna read all that stuff and try to get in the mindset of the rat, you know? So for me, it's lore, but I know that there's people who love to play this game in a very particular way and approach it very differently. So seeing how those players are able, what happens when they get their hands on the game is gonna be awesome.
Yeah, we hope that too.
Soon.
Yeah, soon. Trademark.
Curse of the 13, where is that? Okay. Awesome. Well, this has been an incredible stream. I know that we're pushing in towards the last couple of minutes here. This was supposed to be about an hour long. We're pushing into about maybe the last 5 minutes. Is there any final words? Any thoughts of wisdom or words of encouragement, or even further teases you guys would like to say? I'll give the floor to you.
One thing that we haven't mentioned is we are intending to start having more frequent, more maybe relaxed streams to open up another avenue where we can listen in to what the community want to say to us. We are already having like more structured ways and unstructured ways of following the community. We have people setting up reports that follow it very tightly, but a lot of us devs also scroll through the forums fairly frequently.
Yeah, so we read your stuff. Keep shouting. We never intend to kill fun on purpose.
But we do have statistics to back us up as well.
Some people in chat say we should be collecting questions and polls so we can get most common questions at the top. So I think that would be a good idea for streams. Who just said that? Aether. I think that'd be a good idea for streams. In terms of this particular stream, everything that you guys saw today, please go to the official Fatshark forums, go to the Steam posts. Obviously, we just said that eyes and ears are out there. So go, please make those questions, those comments, those desires, those wants, those needs. Go make those posts now. Go make it known, because it will be read, it will be reviewed. And then I think in future streams, having polls to kind of build up a Q&A, and like, let's just pretend I'm imagining over Christmas break, we have another stream. We'll do a poll, and then after that, if we have another stream like this, I could ask you guys, hey, here are the top 10 questions of our Vermintide community, and we can kind of go through that. Cool. Yeah. Is there any idea of when that next stream is, or are we gonna soon TM that?
I think let's soon TM it.
Okay.
Not
Cool. We'll talk more on it. Either way,
a bit of Christmas break.
log in, get your Wolffather rewards every day. I got mine like at like 5 a.m. I have an alarm. I will log in and get it. So log in, get your dailies done, get your Wolffather done, do what you can. We're going to be seeing, as a quick recap, we're seeing not just balance changes, not just talent changes, but in the future, we're looking at new maps. We're looking at touch-up of current game modes. We're looking at future game modes, which we just saw that teaser for Versus, and I will close out with that video as well, because it's just a sick video. And for future dev streams as well. So that's about at least six things to look forward to in the coming year. That's incredible. Thank you again so much. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Joachim. And thank you, Carl. Thank you, Fatshark. And thank you, chat, for being here and celebrating today. This is awesome. I'm Ishka, and I look forward to seeing you in the next dev stream. Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.